Today I shall be making cantaloupe melon, peach and ginger jam. Hey YouTube! I had some leftover beautiful Mediterranean peaches, some cantaloupe melons, and I decided that rather than let them all just go mouldy and give them to the birds and the hens, I would make some jam. I found the recipe on the internet, intensely sweet, and I decided that the missing ingredient was ginger, so I've put some ginger in as well. So I don't know how many of you are used to making jam. I can put the recipe in the description on the end. So when you're making jam, it's really simple actually. You chop up all your fruit really small into chunks. Then you add about 6 cups of sugar and the juice of a lemon. Now what I tend to do is I tend to leave it overnight, 24 hours, and I put about half a lemon in with it at the time, and then all the pectins get released and all the juices of the natural fruit juices are released with the sugar, and it kind of makes a really lovely yummy syrup. And then I add more lemon, particularly if, oh, I found a pip, get the pip out. So particularly if your jam is, you know, quite watery fruits, like ripe peaches and melons are quite watery, you want to make sure you've got enough pectin in it to make it set. So I added, you know, extra lemon, made sure the whole lemon went in there, and then you just got to boil it hard. It really helps to have a good jam, heavy bottom jam pan, because it's less likely to burn. If you've got a thinner bottomed pan, you really are going to have to watch it and watch the heat underneath it. And then it takes about an hour, and you just have to keep stirring. You don't want it to let it stick on the bottom. And after a while it starts to get to this sort of more gloopy consistency here, which I'll show you in a minute. I'm sort of getting to the end of it now. It's quite hot work on a hot day, but it's going to be rewarding at the end. At the same time as having my jam pan on, next door to it I have bubbling away a pan of boiling water, and I'm going to sterilise my jars. So here I have my jars and lids. So we're just going to pop the jars into the boiling water and the lids. Let them all have a good soak for a while. Now you can see that the jam is really nearly done. Really important. Now I'm going to just turn this down. Okay, so I've just turned it down a bit because it was just getting way too fierce, because otherwise it's going to burn. I would say this is probably ready. I'm going to do the test. Okay, so we're just going to do this jam test, and basically, if you can separate it, oh, there's another pip. Well, it gives it authenticity. If you can separate it, you should put a line through it, like that. It should just stay. So I would say that this jam is ready. It's much easier if you have a jam funnel though to fill up the jars, and less wasteful. But doing our best. You don't really want it touching the lid because you can reuse these. I mean, these are completely clean lids, and if you're careful in putting your jam into the jar, you can keep those lids clean, because once the product touches the lids are susceptible to getting mouldy. So the cleaner the top of the jar, jam will stay preserved for longer. I'm really pleased the way this one's turned out. Now it's really important to keep everything sterilised when you're doing this. I mean, particularly in my case, whereas, you know, I do sell products as well, that when I do small batches like this, whether any of this jam actually makes it onto the market stall. However, if it's a good jam, we quite often just munch through it ourselves. Now that one I would say is a little bit full. I'm going to put some into the next jar because I don't want to overfill it. As you say, just to the rim of the screw section of the jar is fine, and then make sure it's, this is a particularly sticky jam, this one. Now I think the last jar we're probably only going to get a small quantity of jam in there, but that's okay. That'll be the one that we start eating first. We don't want to waste any, so scrape as much of it as we can out of the pot. So we've got our jars cleaned. We've cleaned round the rims of the jars. Now we get our lids a bit damp with the hot water. Just get them on those jars. And then this is the half jar, which we're no doubt going to eat first. Oh, I'll have that with some nice cup of tea in a bit. So there we have it. Cantaloupe melon, peach and ginger jam. A couple of days ago I had some strawberries as well that we're going to go over. Managed to salvage as many as I could of them, and I made this beautiful strawberry jam. It didn't really set as well, this one, as you can kind of see it moves. I didn't put enough lemon juice in it, and it was a much runnier consistency, but the outcome is delicious. This isn't going to last as long as this one probably, because this is set really well, but we'll see. I mean, it's in a sealed jar, but the taste, the proof is in the taste, as they say, and it certainly tastes fantastic, and it's good enough for us. So I'm not too sad that I won't be able to sell the strawberry jam because it's so yummy that we're going to eat it all ourselves anyway.